My heart is in.
Alright, so we got Indom against David Lemieux. To me, this fight is 50-50. You got the styles in there. It's the great styles clash here. Indom, the mover, one of the best movers at 160. Solid power, great jab, good hand speed, great legs. Just good defensive awareness. Okay. His weakness is that he's kind of chinny. Okay, we see Peter Quillen knock him down like 6 times. Even his most recent fight against Curtis Stevens, it seemed like every time Curtis Stevens touched him with anything flush, he was affected by it. I can't remember if he went down. It might have been a couple slips. I haven't seen the fight since the night of the fight. But it seems like everything Curtis Stevens landed in that fight kind of hurt Indom. So I think Indom is kind of chinny. Outside of Stevens and Quillen, who he lost to, he hasn't really fought anyone, okay? But he's definitely a solid boxer. And then you have David Lemieux, a guy that's coming off a couple big knockouts. He knocked out Fernando Guerrero, dominated him. And then Gabe Rosado, right? Another fighter that he ended up stopping. Mike Tyson style, real big puncher, slugger, very aggressive, come forward type of fighter. Just want to land box. He has a jab. He uses the jab to close the distance and everything, but he's more of a slugger. Just wants to land bombs. He lost to Joachim Alcine years ago, and he also got stopped by Marco Antonio Rubio. Okay, in a fight where, if you watch, I actually seen that fight a few times. David Lemieux was dominating. Well, it seemed like he was landing nothing but bombs against Rubio, but wasn't able to really affect Rubio. Okay, Rubio was able to still come and beat him midway or later in the later rounds of that fight. Rubio's punches just had much more effect, and that's the. I can't really tell you that David Lemieux has a weak chin because, obviously that's the only fight he was stopped. But, Gabe Rosado landed some good shots that stunned him a little bit. And I think Indom could definitely hurt him. But I'm not really sure if Indom could stop him, I think Indom has enough power and he's good enough with his footwork to at least stabilize him and keep the distance between him and Lemieux. But Lemieux is definitely very good at closing the distance. So, he will throw out that jab to close the distance and try to land the bomb. Who do I think is going to win the fight? Like I said, I do think it's a 50-50 fight. I do think Indom definitely has the skills to close or keep the distance between him and Lemieux for the majority of the fight. It's just that whenever he does get hit with a bomb by Lemieux, I think he could possibly go down. Like, Lemieux is one of the hardest punchers in the division, and he's improved. Since he's lost to Alcine and to Quillen. Who was he lose to? Rubio. Okay, he's definitely improved. But at the same time, like I said, in the Curtis Stevens fight, Curtis Stevens is not really for him at the division. He's very short and he has short arms, and he just did not know how to close the distance between him and Indom. Indom at points his back was against the ropes, and it seemed like Stevens just didn't know how to be aggressive enough to be able to come in and land something big. He does have a big left hook. He just wasn't really doing enough for him to land a big shot on Indom. I think with David Lemieux is very aggressive. Okay, he is going to try to close the distance. I think Indom has the height and the reach advantage, but Lemieux is no pushover. He's gonna come. He's very, very aggressive. He has that Mike Tyson style of fighting where, he's gonna come in low and try to land a big left hook or over top right hand. And I think Endom is definitely going to fall throughout this fight. And we seen him before. And every time Lemieux lands something big, it's definitely going to hurt Endom. You know, like I said, Endom is a good mover, but I've seen his back against the ropes at times, okay? Just like you seen with Willie Monroe uh, recently against Golovkin. I think Lemieux is going to be, at some points, he's going to kind of trap Endom and try to land a bomb somewhere in there, a big punch, and Endom is going to go down. I don't know if he's going to be able to knock him out because he got back up every time Peter Quillin knocked him down. And he actually came back against Peter Quillin. He hurt Peter Quillin late, and he was winning several rounds, and the fight became very close in the later half of the second half of the fight. But I think he fell again when late in that fight. I think even in the 12th round, Peter Quillin dropped him again. He just gets knocked. He just can't. I think he's just too chinny. He's never been knocked out cold, but he's definitely going to fall at some point in this fight. But I think it's still a 50-50 fight. I think both fighters are capable of winning this fight. You know, and Dom could outbox him for 12 rounds, okay? Or he could, he could possibly hurt Lemieux. You still don't really know enough about Lemieux, okay? We know that he got knocked out by Rubio, but beating and stopping Gabe Rosado really doesn't prove to us that you're really a top fighter, because guys like Fernando Guerrero, guys like Gabriel Rosado, they have lost to just about all of the top fighters at 160 that they face. So we really don't know yet how good David Lemieux is. A lot of people want to see him fight Triple G. And it's possible that fight might happen next if he were to win this fight, or Endom fight him next. But we still really don't know. And the same with Endom. We still don't know how chinny is he. How good is he compared to the elite fighters at 160? He already lost to Peter Quillin. He beat Curtis Stevens, but Curtis Stevens has lost to a lot of fighters at 162. So it's really hard to tell. Both of these guys, we really still don't know how good either one of them is right now. But it's a great style clash in this fight. And I'm picking Lemieux to win by decision. Okay, I think his power is going to get him some of those 10-8, maybe 10-7 rounds, because I think he's definitely capable of knocking down Endom. Is he going to be able to stop him? I really don't know. He's been on a good streak right now stopping guys. But I think Endom is a little bit better than the last two opponents that he faced. So I'm going to go with Lemieux by unanimous decision on this one. But it is a 50-50 fight. It's a very dangerous fight for both fighters. All right, so let me know what you guys think, and make sure you hit subscribe.